I used to be a fighter, and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on me real close, I can still knock your monkey out though. I just don't have the quickness I have, and I'll knock your short ass out. I'll shoot your perv straight out your head.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment.
Steve Harvey has finally broken his silence after months of speculation, and his words at the 2024 InvestFest have people questioning if he's finally addressing Katt Williams' explosive accusations.
I'm so sorry. Jesus, keep me near the cross.
But why did it take Steve so long to respond? And what does his cryptic advice about staying on your path really mean? Let's dive deep into Steve Harvey's emotional speech and what it reveals about his ongoing issues with Katt Williams. Steve Harvey has always been known for his sharp wit and no-nonsense attitude, but his recent comments at the 2024 InvestFest have taken on a deeper, more personal tone. After months of silence following Katt Williams' harsh words, Steve addressed the audience with a message about staying on your path, ignoring the haters, and keeping your focus on your goals.
When God has you on a path, and you are clear that you are on a path, there's a Bible verse that says, stay on the wall. When they throw rocks at you.
But is there more to this than meets the eye? Could this be Steve's way of responding to Katt Williams without ever mentioning his name? Steve Harvey's appearance at the InvestFest wasn't just about dishing out life advice. To many fans and critics, it seemed like a thinly veiled response to the comments made by Katt Williams earlier this year. When Steve started talking about ignoring haters, it didn't go unnoticed that his words might have been aimed at Katt. But was Steve's message really about rising above, or was it a carefully crafted way to avoid addressing the accusations directly?
I don't have my cell number. I don't care what you think of me, because you're not in my life that way.
Fans have been quick to point out that Steve's dismissive tone here might be more than just a general statement. After all, when someone says they don't care, it often means they do. Steve's refusal to name names only fueled speculation that he was talking about Katt, especially given the timing. Critics argue that by not addressing Katt's claims directly, Steve might be trying to sidestep a confrontation he's not prepared for.
Because lions don't turn around when small dogs bark. And I don't.
That line about lions and small dogs? It's the kind of metaphor that sounds powerful on the surface but raises eyebrows when you dig deeper. Critics have pointed out that if Steve truly believed he was a lion, why even acknowledge the barking? The fact that he felt the need to address it at all suggests that Katt's words may have struck a nerve. From a fan's perspective, this could be seen as Steve trying to maintain his image while subtly throwing shade.
When God has you on a path, and you are clear that you are on a path, there's a Bible verse that says, stay on the wall. When they throw rocks at you.
Steve's use of religious imagery didn't go unnoticed either. While some fans appreciated the message, others couldn't help but see it as a way to deflect from the real issue. By framing his response in terms of faith and divine purpose, Steve might be attempting to elevate himself above the fray. But critics argue that this could also be a tactic to avoid getting into the specifics of Katt's accusations. After all, if you're staying on the wall, you don't have to come down and address the details, do you?
Stay on the wall. Don't come down off the wall to address some little small-minded, pity-ante hater who is, and you'll never have a hater that's doing better than you.
And there it is, the subtle yet unmistakable dig. Steve's choice of words here has sparked debate among fans. Some see it as a clever way to brush off criticism, but others interpret it as a passive-aggressive swipe at Katt. By labeling the critic as small-minded and penny Annie, Steve may be trying to diminish the validity of Katt's comments without actually engaging with them. This approach has left some wondering if Steve is more concerned with preserving his image than addressing the substance of the criticism. While Steve Harvey's speech at InvestFest was meant to project confidence, fans and critics alike couldn't help but notice moments where his composure seemed to slip. Despite his attempts to appear unbothered, there were signs that the pressure might be getting to him. Was this a case of Steve letting his true feelings show, or just a misstep in an otherwise polished performance?
Stay away from it. Now, do I want to? Yes. Because I'm a human being, and I'm hood.
This part of Steve's speech raised some eyebrows. For someone who's supposedly above the drama, Steve's readiness to throw hands came off as a bit out of character. Fans on social media were quick to point out the irony. Steve, who had just preached about staying on the path, suddenly seemed all too eager to step off it. Critics suggest that this moment of bravado might have been an attempt to reassert his dominance, but it also hinted at some underlying frustration that's hard to ignore.
I used to be a fighter, and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on me real close, I can still knock your monkey out, though. I just don't have the quickness I have. I don't even know why I said that.
The abrupt shift from aggressive talk to a sudden apology had fans talking. Some saw it as a genuine moment of self-awareness, while others speculated that Steve realized he might have gone too far in front of the InvestFest audience. Critics argue that this backtrack could be seen as a crack in Steve's usually controlled public persona. It's moments like these that make people wonder if the criticism from Katt Williams is starting to get under his skin, despite his efforts to stay above it all. Meanwhile, several internet users seemed uninterested to hear what Harvey had to allegedly say about Williams. One netizen said, "The most delayed reaction I've ever seen." Others seemed to side with Katt Williams, with most of them claiming he was right. Now, for those who might have forgotten, earlier this year, during an interview on the Club Shay Shay podcast, Katt Williams insinuated that Steve Harvey plagiarized Mark Curry's role as Mark Cooper in Hangin' with Mr. Cooper on his series, The Steve Harvey Show.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had.
He also asserted that Harvey would never make it as a movie star, which is why he sticks to hosting Family Feud and sitcoms. Then you ask him, "Why you not a movie star?" "I didn't want to be a movie star," Williams continued. This the same end that hated on Bernie Mac with this same thing. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asked for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good. And look like Mr. Potato Head? There ain't none. You have to have range. Now, in case you are wondering, here's the joke Curry was talking about.
It was a trip, Halloween. We couldn't afford no Halloween costumes. I'm going to send us down to the liquor store, put boxes on us. I think we UPS, I guess. I don't know.
And here's Steve's version.
Heard me say that every Halloween I had the same outfit on. I just had a brown box, and he just told me to tell everybody I was a UPS man.
Now, to make matters worse, Curry alleged that Steve allegedly stole his comedic material not just once, but twice.
I haven't. You know, my thing with Steve Harvey is that he used my material on both his platforms.
Yeah.
After I talked to him, I saw him at Def Jam, I went up and talked to him, I said, "Man, you're using my material."
The comedian revealed to the TMZ staff that he had addressed the issue with Harvey in the past, but the joke stealing persisted, he said. The comedian has claimed Harvey told his jokes on both The Steve Show and Kids Say the Darndest Things. "My thing with Steve Harvey is he used my material on both his platforms," Curry told TMZ staff. "You're taking money out of my pocket. You've made it. You're very wealthy. Stop using my material." Mark also explained, "I saw him and I went up to talk to him and I said, 'Baby, you using my material, taking money out of my pocket. You made enough money. You're very wealthy. You don't have to take it away from me.' But then he used it on his other show, The Kids Show." As it would turn out, that was not the first time Steve would be caught up in a situation with another comic. In December of 2008, Williams called out Steve Harvey ahead of a Christmas season show, and hell broke loose at that point.
I was on the Steve Harvey show, and Steve Harvey, who is going to call in at 5:45 and get records straight.
And guess who else was involved? Jamie Foxx. First, Fox, who worked as a radio host at the time, played a clip of Williams dissing Steve Harvey. "I want to apologize for what's going to happen," Williams said of their then upcoming joint comedy gig. "But the second that you get on stage, I need you to understand that that's your final time as the king of comedy. Water seeks its own level. You can't stop it, Playboy. It is what it is. So I hope you're ready. I hope you got a team of writers. You're going to need about 6 or 7 of them." Harvey then called in and said he was baffled by the whole thing.
We got Steve Harvey on the line right now.
Oh my God, Steve Harvey is on the line.
That's right.
One and only.
"I've always been cool with Katt. He said in an interview that back in LA, I didn't know who he was," Harvey told Fox and crew. I mean, understand, I didn't know who he was when I was on the radio in LA. He hadn't been in any movies or anything, and the brother was just not that known. He was talking about me in the clubs, and I just asked on the radio whoever Katt Williams is to call me. Anyway, earlier this year, Harvey's response to Katt's claims was an eloquent defense against the insinuations made by Katt Williams. Harvey issued a cautionary message about being deceived by eloquence, asserting that the ability to speak well should not be mistaken for deceit.
Be careful when you hear something that's laid out to be that some people who know how to lie so well, they know how to sprinkle in just enough truth and wrap it inside their lives.
Steve Harvey then proceeded to talk about righteousness, claiming that a person cannot be righteous and negative at the same time.
You can't be righteous and negative at the same time. If you are a righteous man, you will speak as a righteous person.
He then finished by saying, when you are listening to anybody that's trying to make you think that they're anti-Illuminati or anything like this, be very careful because God's voice does not have sin in it. If you are of God, speaking from God, you will not do anything that's ungodly, period. In any case, it appears that both Cedric and Steve have faced some challenges in retaliating against Katt Williams' criticisms. Yet this isn't the first instance of these two comedians finding themselves on the same side. To some, it might seem like Cedric and Steve share a close friendship. However, the reality is quite different, and according to the grapevine, there's a whisper circulating that Steve Harvey is said to hold a certain level of influence over Cedric the entertainer. Adding some context to the situation, rumors suggest that Steve allegedly pulls the strings behind the scenes, even going so far as to direct Cedric to don a dress in specific show episodes, a suggestion that Steve himself reportedly refused to entertain. You see, before Steve Harvey transitioned to daytime hosting, he explored various types of shows, with sitcoms being a significant part of his repertoire. Among them, The Steve Harvey Show stood out as one of his most successful projects. From the 1990s onward, television audiences were treated to a plethora of shows showcasing Black talent, such as The Wayans Bros, The Parkers, and Martin. Network television boasted iconic and culture-defining programming during that era. One notable television program often overlooked in discussions of influential shows was the WB's The Steve Harvey Show. This sitcom played a crucial role in propelling the careers of both Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. Credited with contributing to the success of both comedians, The Steve Harvey Show was a hidden gem that portrayed the vibrant friendship between Steve Hightower, a fictionalized version of Harvey, and Cedric Jackie Robinson, an obvious interpolation of the actor and the late baseball great. The sitcom followed Hightower, a former funk legend turned high school music teacher, as he navigated everyday life at Booker T. Washington High School alongside his best friend Robinson. Despite their impeccable on-screen chemistry and the on-screen hijinks, the nature of the duo's off-screen relationship has sparked curiosity. Based on the dynamics witnessed on set, it appears that they have more of a boss-employee relationship.
Dressing room was always packed because he would go up second.
Cedric not only portrayed Steve Harvey's best friend on the show, but took on a multifaceted role that extended beyond that friendship dynamic. He was also cast in the role of his character's grandmother on the show, aptly named Grandma Puddin. This particular character demanded Cedric to assume the persona of an elderly woman, complete with dressing in women's clothing, embracing a feminine demeanor, and essentially embodying the epitome of femininity.
Puddin Levita is a good woman, and Cedric is lucky to have her. She also happens to be the lady of this house. Now, she has bent over backwards trying to please you.
Now, you might be wondering, why would Cedric accept such an emasculating role? Well, it's because he owed his career to Steve Harvey. You see, the two comedic stars actually came up in the industry together, with Cedric noting that it was Harvey who afforded him his big break in the early stages of his career. Talking to TV Land in 2012, Cedric talked about meeting Harvey early in his career before the Family Feud host was humorously non-Hollywood. In the interview, Cedric prefaced the story, "I was in Dallas stuck, didn't have any money, and Steve was doing a comedy night." He then talked about how Harvey's headliner was bombing at the moment, leading to the game show host giving Cedric 5 minutes on stage. "I rocked it. I K at it," Cedric said with a smile, which led to Harvey inviting him more as the headliner continuously failed. "I don't ever really wish bad on another comedian, but every night I would just be putting a hex on this dude." Cedric jokingly added. Eventually, the two came up as part of the original Kings of Comedy, which also featured D.L. Hewley and the late, great Bernie Mac. In 2020, Harvey and Cedric shared a touching moment on Family Feud when the host put the pressure on Cedric to deliver the right answer. "Bernie's watching," Harvey told a visibly exasperated Cedric, who ultimately delivered the correct answer. At the turn of the century, the world finally got to witness Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer in full form. In 2000, the Spike Lee-directed film, The Original Kings of Comedy, was released in theaters to critical acclaim. In the film, fans bore witness to the likes of Harvey, Cedric, D.L. Hewley, and Bernie Mac, four black comedians, all giving their humorous takes on topics such as race relations, black culture, and family. The Original Kings of Comedy was more than a film. It evolved into a cultural phenomenon that transcended racial boundaries, uniting audiences in laughter. The film's success paved the way for numerous spin-offs, attesting to the enduring influence of its four comedic maestros. However, beneath the surface of this showbiz success lurked some undisclosed, dark secrets. For starters, hushed rumors, which have circulated for years, hint that Mac's career might not have reached its full potential due to alleged tensions amongst these comedians. Cedric, who was a part of the tour along with D.L. Hewley, Steve Harvey, and Bernie Mac, confirmed that the two comedians did not see eye to eye. Yeah. I mean, they were the kind of guys that they both alpha males, they just saw it different, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they was able to get through it, he said, while on Shannon Sharpe's podcast club Shay Shay. Cedric added that because of the feud, it had prevented them from doing another tour. I think, of course, that was, definitely a contributing circumstance. But I also think that it had a lot to do with the promoter on the thing because he got a bigger head than all of us. The dude that put us all together started to really think was about him. So it started to be that. So it was a lot of those kinds of elements.
One of the reasons why you did the first part, and then the second part.
I think, of course, that was, definitely a contributing circumstance.
In 2003, Mac had an interview with GQ magazine where he accused Harvey of being jealous of him and trying to sabotage him for certain movie roles. Harvey acknowledged his feelings about the GQ article and admitted his anger about it. "I was upset at first because it just wasn't true," said Harvey. "Me and Bernie had a lot of good times together, and then this article in GQ came out and put all this vicious stuff in there." Harvey also acknowledged that he spoke with Mac about the interview. B said he never said it. "I had to take him at his word for it." After Mac's passing, Harvey revealed that his widow, Rhonda McCullough, helped him get beyond the feud. "Rhonda, of all people, knows the truth. It was a cleansing moment for me because I was able to let go of a lot of stuff." No one knows what was actually behind the beef. However, Harvey's admission of having a cleansing moment might imply that something was there indeed. In any case, one person who confirmed Katt Williams' claims about Steve Harvey was Ed Lover. The legendary DJ took to his podcast, Come On Son, to corroborate Williams' claim that Steve Harvey did some hating on his fellow King of Comedy performer, Bernie Mac. Williams goes on to say that he was supposed to be one of the Kings of Comedy, that they approached him after Bernie passed, Lover recapped in the episode. But he didn't want to go on the Kings of Comedy tour because of Steve Harvey's treatment of Bernie Mac. He has a lot of respect for Bernie Mac. Lover went on to explain that he had been friends with Mac until his dying day and that Mac told him the same story about Harvey as well. The stuff that Katt Williams said about Steve Harvey calling to try to get Bernie's role on Ocean's 11, and that kind of stuff Bernie told me out of his own mouth. I believe Bernie Mac when he said Steve Harvey hated on him, he concluded. In any case, with all that Steve Harvey had to say in response to Katt's claims, it seems we are in for one hell of a ride. Knowing Katt Williams, who's never been one to shy away from a confrontation, it's only a matter of time before he responds. As the dust settles on Steve Harvey's response, fans and critics alike are left with more questions than answers. While Steve might have aimed to project confidence and rise above the drama, his words have sparked a debate about whether he's truly unbothered or if Katt Williams' remarks hit closer to home than he'd like to admit. Whether Steve's speech was a subtle dismissal or a sign of cracks in his usually controlled public persona, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. And with both comedians known for their quick wit and sharp tongues, it's only a matter of time before the next chapter unfolds. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.